Morning everybody. For those of you who know who I am and what I normally do, most of my stuff is to do with fixing boats on this channel, but today we're going to have a look at something a little bit different. We're going to look at a Halfords Advanced 150% brighter headlight bulb. Why are we looking at one of those? Well, I drive a 2001 BMW X5, so it's an old car, 20 years old. It's done 157,000 miles, and the headlights are a bit now I'm getting on a bit. I'm 45, middle-aged, starting to wear glasses now, which I never used to before, and I had noticed actually that when driving at night I thought, it's not very good, is he? It's a bit like, you know, using candles to see where you're going. It's a very yellow, not very intense light, but I had kind of put that down to just getting a little bit older. I was out with my wife 2 nights ago and I just sort of said to her, what do you think of these headlights? And she said, yeah, they're terrible, aren't they? So what I thought I would do is upgrade. You have to be careful to stay legal. The nice thing to do would be to go for LEDs, but trying to find road legal LEDs is actually quite difficult. They cost a huge amount of money, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, a bit of internet trolling and searching, and I came across these. They actually have a reasonably good review for a Halfords sort of own brand kit. I mean, obviously not made by Halfords. I don't know who makes them. But they fare reasonably well compared to Osrams and Philips and GE and the other sort of manufacturers. So I thought, yeah, go on then, why not? This is a standard bulb, the one I have just taken out of my car, 12 volt, 55 watt. And the Halfords one is, it's the same base obviously. It's got these blue bands around it and a sort of semi-silver top. It's the only real physical difference you can see. It does beg the question, 12 volts, 55 watts, it's 4 and a bit amps. 150% brighter, that's an awful lot. 50% brighter, you know, it's 1.5 times as bright. I can kind of see with advances in technology. 150%, that is 2.5 times brighter without using any more electricity than a standard halogen, and it's not LED, which of course is a totally different way of doing things altogether. So I, you know, a little bit skeptical. Xenon gas technology, up to 150% more light. Up to, so it could be no more, could be less. Xenon gas technology, I mean, it's just words, they don't really mean anything, do they? Xenon is quite often used in high intensity discharge lights, which are a totally different type of system, and they were, up until recently, the sort of the modern tech. Of course, everything's gone to adaptive LEDs now, which is the way forward, but vastly expensive. So anyway, we are going to test them and see what happens. So this is the original standard halogen bulb. There's going to be absolutely no way of determining on a phone on a workbench whether the new ones are any brighter or not, but what we can do is just have a quick look at the specs. So running at 13 and a bit volts, which is a standard car sort of power supply, 4.2 amps and 55 and a bit watts. They are 55 watt bulbs. So the new one, which is supposed to be 2.5 times as bright, does it run at 4.2 amps and 55 watts? This is the new 150% brighter. It does seem a bit brighter, but it's very difficult to quantify. Most importantly, 4.25 amps, the other one was 4.2 and 55.8 watts, so it's still, you know, just about a 55 watt bulb, so we're not using any more power, certainly. I think it might be brighter, but what we'll do, we'll put them in the car, we'll put one in one headlight and we'll leave the original in the other headlight, and we'll see if there's any sort of discernible difference when they're in the car. Well, that is very odd. The left headlight has the new bulb in it and the right hand one has the old bulb in it. If anything, the right one looks a little brighter, but I think it's the beam pattern that's kind of confusing the issue. The left one, if you can see here, has a really bright hot spot just there, whereas the other one doesn't seem to have so much of a bright spot. So maybe it's just the way the beam is focused that gives you the impression of a brighter light rather than it, as I say, it's not using any more power, so I struggle to understand how it can be 2.5 times as bright without using any more electricity, unless it appears brighter on the road because the beam pattern is different. So we'll swap the other one. We'll go ahead and change the other one. And then we'll wait for it to get dark, which won't take too long because it's the winter in England. And then I'm going to take the car for a drive and see if it feels any different, see if I notice any difference. And if I don't, straight back to Halfords. Not convinced yet. Just pulled over by the side of the road and raised my headlight alignment a tad very quickly manually, so that'll probably get me an MOT fail when I go for that in a couple of months. See how many people flash me. Yeah, let's have a look. I mean, the left-hand side is fairly well illuminated. The curb is good, but still the throw in front of the car. It's definitely not 150%. I don't even think it's 50% more. I mean, high beam. Look at that, lovely, lovely, lovely. It's it might just be the beam geometry on these headlights. They're BMW's projector headlights, but they're 20 years old. It's a 20-year-old design. They're much better these days, I'm sure. It just seems a bit wanting. Hello, there goes the camera thing. Oh well, I'll stop recording again now, mainly because the phone's just fallen off the dashboard. Oh, hello. I'm not touching the phone while I'm driving. That would be. So last time I spoke to you, we had just fitted those Halfords Advanced 150% brighter bulbs. Now I went for a drive. I did take the phone with me for a drive. I don't know if I've included that footage or not at this point, because it was pretty terrible. It was very, very bumpy. You didn't get to see a lot. I might include it anyway, just not it. But the upshot is I have returned them to Halfords this morning. They were better, yes. They were brighter, yes, but there were a couple of issues. First of all, they were not 150% brighter, as in 2.5 times as bright, nothing like. Second issue was the beam pattern was very odd. I had a very bright spot right in front of the car and almost nothing throwing further sort of downrange, if you will, which is one of the things I wanted to be able to see further ahead. The existing lights, the existing halogens, don't project the light very far, so they have gone back. I have ordered from a well-known site that delivers things the next day or the same day, a HID conversion kit, high intensity discharge. These are the xenon high voltage lamps. There's some discussion as to whether they are legal or not. Now, certainly, if you have reflector type headlamps, they are not legal. Now, I have projector headlamps on the BMW, so that's a good thing. The other thing that you must have is either self-leveling headlights or self-leveling suspension. The BMW has self-leveling suspension. So I have the leveling suspension, and I have projector headlights, and I can disable the manual leveling light system, so I might be legal. The headlight housings are designed to accommodate HID bulbs because it comes as an option from the factory with BMW. So I think I might be legal. LEDs definitely would not be legal. The HIDs I think will be. So I will let you know what happens with my my HID conversion kit. Hurrah!